desire and more than you deserve. Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to.
Your final bros are here. It's Brian Hopper LaGrasta and Shane. I'm just a cuck Smith. We're joined by her brother Tim and Nick.
Yes. Nick here because we just recorded Scream. He's like, I saw this movie. I'll stick around. We'll see how much input he's going to give.
True.
But, of course, Tim, big fan of the menu.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here, as always. And even though I don't have an outfit like a chef or a chef's hat, I tried to find the closest thing to hamburgers that I have.
Fair. We missed on chef coats, and
did.
I feel responsible for that. I really do.
I have a chef hat at home. Should have brought it. By the way, Tim's idea to have a nice, juicy burger during this.
It's a tasty burger.
Great idea.
Cheers to that.
That's a good burger.
Courtesy of the Denville dog.
Yeah. You know what would be better than this burger, though? Emulsion. Or like
Split
foam.
emulsion? You like split emulsion?
I love split emulsion.
Broken mulch.
It's my favorite thing in the world to eat.
Or pond scum served on an oyster?
Pretty much. Wow.
Those dishes, and it's the point, were the height of pretentious.
Yeah, the whole movie's pretentious.
But it doesn't, it's so good. Because it really digs in on how food culture has become toxic. Mm-hmm. Where it's like people don't just enjoy well-made burgers or well-made steaks anymore. It's got to be deconstructed into atoms.
And, true. I also think it's the approach to get there, because the culinary world is so cutthroat
and toxic.
People think the lawyer game is cutthroat or insurance salesman.
Yeah.
But no, chefs are very egotistic.
Chefs are one step below used car salesmen.
Yeah.
They're tortured artists.
Yes.
For a reason, but you have to question what tortures them. Is it the fact that they are the artist, or because other people drive them to that?
Yeah. By the way, I'm just going to throw it out here, even on the podcast. If you're too high up, there is a button to lower yourself on the chair if that is easier for you.
What? No.
There you go.
I didn't even realize they had that.
That
Didn't want you straining your neck talking to the mic.
I was sitting up in my ivory tower. I apologize.
Yeah, so I think this movie's also thematic in some ways. I definitely got that have versus the have-nots feel.
Yes.
Which I thought was really cool.
Well, they really do. They go into it really are you a giver or a taker?
Are you the server or the served?
Exactly.
Are you part of the staff?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have access to the country club, or do you not?
Do you have to watch the people in the country club?
Yeah, but it's going to be a good show, and it's a great movie to talk about.
Yeah.
Is it one of our favorites of 2022? We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, we're eating a burger for it. Mm-hmm. So, you know where I love to eat my burgers?
Where, Jim?
The Spooky Pit.
Is that where we're going to eat our burgers?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, I'm eating with a... Not chew. Mm-hmm. The menu was released last year, 2022. A young couple eats at Voldemort's high-end island restaurant, and he's prepared quite a feast. It's directed by Mark Mylod, stars Ralph Fiennes as Chef Slowik, Anya Taylor-Joy as Margot, Nicholas Hoult as Tyler, Hong Chow as Elsa, Janet McTeer as Lillian, Paul Adelstein as Ted, John Leguizamo as movie star.
He doesn't have a name.
No. I was shocked too. And Reed Birney as Richard. Yeah, I was looking through that. I'm like, wait, movie? He doesn't have a name in the movie. They don't name him.
John Leguizamo is an interesting guy. And I actually think they play off John Leguizamo, his actual career, where one of his movies actually ruined Chef Slowik's life. Because when I watch John Leguizamo, some of his movies, I'm like, oh, I like him. And some of his movies, I'm like, oh, he's ruining my life.
I have some very exciting news for you.
Yeah.
Apparently, in an interview, he based his character off of none other than Steven Seagal.
Wow.
Really?
Yes. That might just be deflection for John Leguizamo to be like, I couldn't think of anybody else, but it was Steven Seagal. But I'm going to say sure. Okay, John.
I can kind of see it, though.
I do, actually.
Yeah, with the black suit and going in there, I can kind of see it.
And the way, when he's talking about his, TV show he's going to do, he's like, it's fine. Which I think is how Seagal acted on Lawman.
It's fine.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Broken emulsion.
Oh God, we're gonna get into the broken emulsion. I like the characters in this movie, and that's what helps this movie.
Like it hits archetypes.
Yes, very well.
Absolutely.
Like the kiss ass to the girl
Nicholas
who
Hoult?
does all the
Nicholas Hoult
Yeah.
is phenomenal in this movie. I mean, obviously, like Ralph Fiennes, like deserved an Academy Award.
He
for,
did.
a nom for this. Like he was incredible. But yeah, I loved Nicholas Hoult in it. But yeah, everybody's good. Like Margot's good. Anya Taylor-Joy,
Yeah,
the food critic.
just everyone, even those asshole like
The finance bros?
yeah, the finance bros. I was gonna call them farmer bros, but yeah, finance.
I love
bros.
the finance bros.
Like when they're talking to the waitress and they're like, "Do you know who we work for?"
Yeah, you know they're just riding the coattails of whatever the fuck is the guy that owns the place. I forgot his name.
And that's I can't think of his name either. I'll look it up while we're talking. But like,
He's the guy who runs their company,
yes,
essentially,
yes,
right?
and he owns Chef Slowik and the restaurant.
I think he owns like the whole island.
That's what it seems like.
It starts with I think his last name starts with a V.
It does.
Doug Varick?
Oh, Doug Varick.
That's
yeah.
it. That's it. It is Varick. But they act like they're him when all they do because I think he even says that you work for him. You aren't like.
Yeah.
They're like we're his boys essentially. Like we're his children.
They're
And
the
they act
Varick
like
crew.
children,
They
too.
do. They do.
Yeah, they're just goons. They're just overpaid.
Goons is actually the
They're
perfect
like
word to describe them.
They're overpaid like pawns. Like they're just.
They're the lackeys, you know. They're just
the
they're
lackeys.
the underhands.
Well,
So
I know we're going to, like, speaking of things getting deconstructed, I know we're definitely going to deconstruct every character. And I will say, having watched it again, everybody is playing a caricature of someone or a group of people that you would know or someone does know, or you could they are very real to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
It's a very well done how they bring all these people together, and the characters they play, like you said, are just like you can relate to knowing something.
I love
like
the
that.
preparation. I love how he has an audible mid routine,
It's incredible.
like mid event.
It's the Peyton Manning of the food world.
Yeah.
There's audibles left and right.
I just love when he apologizes to his staff. He's like, "I'm so sorry, folks. Like this was not a part of our menu tonight." But that's the thing is the menu is not even just the actual physical menu; it's the experience.
Experience,
It's,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
it has nothing to do with the food at the end of the
But
day.
that's what I think also in thematically like talking about like the culinary world, how like people like are paying for like now like an experience with their food. It's not just like the actual food quality. And I think they're also like it's definitely satire for that as well.
Yeah. Well, what's her name even says it best. Margot, when they're eating that scallop dish and it's like on a rock and it's all this, she's like, just a scallop would have been great. Like I don't need all this like pageantry.
How pretentious was he's like, don't eat, taste.
I know.
I would be like, I'm fucking leaving.
All right, so let's jump right into the beginning of the movie. We meet Margot and Tyler. They're, as far as we know, a couple.
You think?
Yeah,
Because they are like going back and forth. You think they've known each other for a while. And they're tasting some food. They're on a boat. The boat comes to an island where they have to check in. This is where we learn she wasn't his first choice. No.
They ask, "Oh, this isn't." He's like, "Yeah, she canceled my new date."
Margot. Oh, she's not on the list.
She gets in anyway.
Gets in anyway. He's got the guest.
This is quite unusual, but they let it slide.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't like kick her out.
I thought
at
so
entry.
too. The first time I watched it.
I think it's like, well, it's the shock of, right, because they get on the boat and right from the get-go they're starting to introduce you to pretty much everybody that's going to be attending for the evening, and you get to see this level of pretentiousness, and even there's like mixed interactions between like John Leguizamo's character and the finance bros, where he's like, "Oh, what? You don't know who I am?" And they're like, "Yeah, great job, dude." Like, it's like you're getting to understand that most of these people are unbearable, and I wouldn't last more than 2 minutes before socking one of them in the tooth. So that's right. So that when they get there, and then I guess it's Elsa is like their head, like reporting sous chef.
Yes.
Freaks out over Margot's attendance, essentially, right?
Yeah.
She's not the sous chef. She would be like the.
She's like the
Like,
captain.
What's? Okay, I'm glad you're here. Hell's Kitchen.
yep.
The guy that always waited at the tables. What was his?
Oh,
His name,
like the Jean-Pierre guy.
Jean-Pierre. He had a specific title for the person who just doesn't cook but runs the front of house. There's a specific name, and I cannot think of what it is.
I'll try looking it up.
Yes, that's it.
Yep, there you
She's
go.
the maitre
I'm
d'.
pulling them out tonight,
Yes,
man.
that's what. Because she never cooks. She's the maitre d'. She seats everyone. She makes sure everyone's in place.
Yeah.
She does all that. There we go. See this we're doing it.
Tim is well versed in the culinary world.
That's true.
He
I'm
got the
secretly
knowledge.
a top chef in my spare time.
So, sorry, I'm chewing into the mic. She's going to take them around the island. We go to my favorite place, the smoked meat house,
Oh, you love the smoked meat house.
where they're just dry aging meat for what is it, like 150 days?
Well, she's giving them the grand tour.
Yeah. And then someone's like a real sarcastic about it, and they're like, "What if we eat the meat on the 151st day?" She's like, "Then your insides will rot."
Yeah.
Like, you'll die.
Not gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it's very painfully intense the entire time with the staff, and Elsa being the one showing them the island. It's from the get-go incredibly uncomfortable. And I think also Nicholas Holt's character Tyler like even asks like, "Oh, what about the chef's house? Can we tour the chef's house?" Because they tore the barracks.
Yes.
This is a fucking cooking cult. Okay,
that's what it is.
Get it out of the way.
It is absolutely a cult. It just is.
The fact they all have to live on this island
Except the
in
chef,
one house.
and the chef gets to live in his fancy cottage.
He's
He's the cult leader.
I was gonna say he's the Jared Leto of this island.
You can't go. You can't go in that house.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. it's a cult. It is a cult, and we're gonna learn about this cult.
Oh yeah.
So they all then go to the restaurant. They get seated. Apparently, this is an invite only.
Yes, Shane.
You get selected.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get into. It's prestigious. So what is the first meal? Does anyone remember?
Oh, that first meal was a. I mean, I don't remember.
Amuse bouche.
Yes.
Moose bouche.
It was the amuse
No,
bouche.
I'm pulling them out. I'm
They
going
all
to
looked
a
fucking
restaurant,
weird.
Man.
This is the one, I believe, the amuse bouche.
Oh, you're gonna describe it.
Yeah, because I believe it's the rock with the scallop on the top, correct?
That was the
Is
first one they
Now,
brought.
was that the thing that had the little bubbly things?
That's what I'm trying to... Oh, it is,
It's
yeah.
the little bubbly
It's
things.
the foam.
The foam.
The
yes.
sea foam.
And it's the thing with the snow on top of it.
Yes, that's the first course.
Because I think I distinctly remember there's part where Tyler runs up to one of the chefs and he's like, I forget the name
Oh,
of the
yeah,
device.
in the,
He's like, Isn't
in
that
that-
device that does the thing? And he's like, yes. And he's like, do you know how to use one of these? He's like, I have one at home, right?
Oh, we have to find out what this is. I'll look it
Oh,
up.
it drives me. It's like a special device that you can like basically powderize anything.
Yes.
And it makes it into such a fine dust that effectively they create like a snow effect on the dish.
That's right. And doesn't, like, Tyler cry while he's describing this? Like,
He
how
has-
beautiful it is?
He has a lot of very like he waxes poetic a lot. So he gets like very emotional and he like either he cries during the first dish or he cries later when the chef head chef is Slough, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Is describing one of the dishes. He actually cries during that.
Slowik.
Slowik. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Slowik.
So Slowik, yeah.
The
it's like-
Paco Jet.
the Paco jet.
Yes.
So he's like, oh, that's a Paco jet. And he's like, what, you have one of these at home or something like that? And I think this is where there's already subtle hints to something is already amiss because they're like, oh, we know all about you. We knew you were coming. Like, you find out that like this is a selective group and it's something like $12.50 per person for like 12 people a night. So like on average for the week, they're making like if they're open, let's say from Monday through Saturday, they're making like over, I think like $100,000.
Yeah.
Like a fucking week there. It's sick. It's insane, right? So you learn that they know a lot about the guests. They're charging an insane amount of money, and also right from the amuse bouche, I just remember everyone just immediately becomes like some people are like, I don't give a shit. I'm just rich and I'm here to eat.
Yeah.
And other people like the food critic are just insanely pretentious about it.
Yes.
Yeah, like she's like judging every step, and like she's quote unquote the one that put him on the map.
Yeah. I do like how they go into their backstory too,
Yeah, of
and
course.
why these
But I
people
think it's,
were selected.
I think it's done very like subtly. Like,
It is.
It's not like thrown at you.
No, it's during. It starts like everything seems normal right now. It's weird, don't get me wrong, but you just assume these are just rich, pretentious assholes having dinner, until we get to, I believe it's the third course.
Yeah. It's the
Where
third course,
it
yeah.
slowly picks up, and then the fourth course is mayhem. But the third course is when we'll learn some things. But let's move on. They have these meals. They do that. Then they go to the second course, and the second course is accompanied is it's the bread one.
What was the emulsion one though? Was the bread after emulsion? Because I think it was a amuse bouche. First course is the emulsion.
Yes. So it's a amuse bouche first course, and then first course was the.
So actually, I think the no bread and the emulsion are the same.
Same,
thing,
yeah.
actually. Yes,
So
they are.
so first course is the one I was talking about with the rock and the scalp on the top.
Right.
So the second course is what I want to get to then, because the first course I think is just the one where he cries, Tyler, which we had mentioned.
Right.
So now the second course is where it starts to get interesting, because that's where he's like talks about bread being food for the common man. He's like, you're anything but the common man.
But a common man, yeah.
Right.
So he gives them the course is called the accompaniments without the bread. So it's just like
Epic.
all the dipping
that you
without
would have
bread.
for bread,
Yeah.
but no bread.
Right.
And they have literally all of them have a note explaining that tonight you will have no bread.
Yes.
And there was definitely like a little bit of a dialogue between the three Hokies and
Yes.
and Elsa. Is that her
Yes, this is where they're like, you could give us some bread.
They're like, do you know who we are? And she's like, yes, I do. And then they're like, give us bread. And she's like, no. And these are people that don't like to be told no.
Yes.
Pretty much all of them have grown up and been through this lifestyle where literally all their lives they've never been told no because they can pay to get anything they want. So like the finance bros have a mental breakdown over getting no bread.
Yeah, they do. They don't take it well.
And then the food critic snaps because all of them are audibly insulting the staff
Yes.
at this very intimate setting. So the food critic complains about the emulsion being split,
So funny.
to which, Chef Slowik has a very, very avid response to that.
Well, he literally has like the whole place either bugged or this like
supersonic hearing?
ultrasonic hearing because he could pick up anything. He picks up like the conversation between Nicholas Hoult's character and Anya. He picks up the food critic here when she talks about the emulsion, and they bring her out.
A pot.
A giant pot of it.
Oh my god. Also, the finance bros is when your opening quote is said to them.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Her delivery of that line is so like
You're like, oh, it's
chilling
almost.
almost.
Yeah, because then you're like, it's a cult.
Yeah. It's chilling. For a movie that's not really scary, it's like a scary line delivery, if that makes sense. Like
What's the funniest part of that to me is that out of the three finance bros, I felt like that guy in the tan shirt was probably the nicest or chillest one.
Yes.
Who was just trying to, because like, he goes into like how he's not a good person. Like, you know, he talks about like with them, like, oh, my we're going through a bad thing because I cheated on my, significant other at work.
Yeah.
And like, but out of all of it, he's the one who was just like trying to just move things along for everybody. And she just says that line to him. And he's like, what?
he freezes. Like
He absolutely freezes. Oh, and then we can't forget the miserable married couple over in the corner.
Yeah.
Where I remember they literally have the dialogue I hope I never have with like my future wife, where I'm just like, saw somebody today. Yeah. That's literally, and I was like, ooh, like that is not
Saw somebody
that you're
today.
like, great. Like that's their marriage in a
Yeah.
nutshell. And I was like, rough. It's rough.
That's also where you start to get the connection between that guy and Margot, because she like won't look at him and he won't look at her. They keep doing these like glances but lookaways,
Right.
And it's very uncomfortable for the two of them. And
And the wife keeps asking, like, I feel like I know her from
Yeah.
somewhere. I feel
I've
like,
seen
and he's
her
like,
before.
she's
Yeah.
like, shut up. Don't shut
we
up.
won't. We're not talking
He's
about
like,
that.
shut up, bitch.
And Nicholas Holt's having literally the best time of his fucking life during all of this.
Yeah, and their interactions are so interesting, which makes you think there's something more because I know it does become like pretty evident that she's a prostitute.
Yes.
But like he like fucking like treats her like shit whenever she calls out the food, especially like with all those like little sauces.
Yeah.
And no bread. And she's like, I can't like literally I can't eat this.
Well, because she's supposed to be the
The common man.
Yes, because
But
she's
they're- but the
she's
thing
like
is-
she's like you're too stupid to realize he's making fun of you.
Fun of you, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. When he does the whole no breath thing, he's like, you realize he just insulted you, right?
Yeah.
And the whole time he's like, oh, this is brilliant. You just don't understand the narrative.
Yeah,
Like,
the narrative.
like he's using terminology like that, and just like and also he's cheating, taking the pictures of the food. And they were like in the beginning, they were like, no pictures, dude.
It's I guess he's taking the that's coming up. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It is super interesting because he's like the he's gonna ride or die Chef Slowik no matter like what
Yes.
he does.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But like I like how they do bring that back at the end because he's not like people like them that are just total like Shane Smith cucks. He's not gonna a chef wouldn't get the proper feedback because it's always gonna be like, oh, 5 star, 5 star, 5 star, 5 star, I love you, I love you, love you. But it's not like proper feedback. Where the critic is just kind of like just trashing everything that comes through.
Yeah.
I like that because I know we have to get into it more because I couldn't pinpoint what his problem was besides just being an extreme dick rider.
Yeah.
I was like, how is this damaging? That was
Yeah.
basically what I was trying to figure out. I think you just hit the nail on the head. He's one of those people who cannot deliver constructive criticism. And also, this is not, as you will learn later, his really forte or realm to even speak on, period.
Yeah, it's not his area of expertise, which is demonstrated later.
Yeah.
Like he's literally just a dick rider.
And it's we'll get into it more because there's so much to talk about as I talk in the two mics. So now we're going to get to another course where he's talking about Taco Tuesday. It's everyone's favorite.
Taco
Who doesn't
Tuesday.
love Taco Tuesday?
He remembers it with his whole family when he used to do Taco Tuesday.
Yeah,
every Tuesday, Taco Tuesday.
He's like,
his smile is incredible, by the way.
Oh, dude, the fake genuine, like so disingenuous.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
The fake is the granola.
He's like, I remember how my mom liked Taco Tuesday, except when she was drunk and couldn't make tacos. And then my dad would come home drunk, and then he would strangle my mom with the phone cord, and then I had to stab him with a pair of scissors. And then he stabs himself in the leg with scissors.
Yeah, it's the menu, Shane. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Yes, there is a stabbing later with
The one chef. Right?
Doesn't he get stabbed twice though? Because I
Yeah.
think earlier on he does something. I don't know I forgot what it was, but he does.
He's gonna get stabbed by a chef later.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
he
that.
doesn't stab himself yet. That's
It's
right.
gonna happen.
Yes, that is later.
It's gonna happen, but then he also reveals because there's an old woman.
That's his mom.
Right, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck is this old drunk?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "That's mom."
Yeah, and that's right. So, but he does mention the scissors because I do remember this part because when the tortillas come out, they do come out with the chicken thigh that has the scissors
'Cause he
in
stabbed
them.
his father in the thigh.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why
It gets like insanely dark. He's like, I should
Yeah.
have stabbed him in the throat.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, it's amazing because like the food critics are like, oh, this is just typical for him. And then Nicholas Hoult is like, isn't this amazing? Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like it. And then everyone, even though everyone else is fucked up, everyone else is like, okay.
Well, that's the thing.
Something's not
That's
right.
why I like John Leguizamo. Yeah, he's a failing actor and
Right.
very pretentious of himself, but he's like, yo, this is kind of fucked up. Like,
Right.
he's like kind of like,
He's a thinker.
he's like, all right, this is getting a little weird now.
Even he and he's going through a weird thing because I think the girl that's with him is like his manager,
Publicist is what I thought it was.
Right, and they're about to have a falling out because she doesn't want to work with him anymore.
But it's not even a falling out, and this is why I actually feel bad for John Leguizamo because you learn like he was actually going to help her.
Yeah,
I felt terrible for them. They were like the one people in there I actually felt bad for.
I think that's what makes this.
Because you love Steven Seagal.
Yeah, this is what it comes down to, isn't it?
With this character, because he wasn't like a bad guy doing anything awful, so
Oh,
it just. Yeah, it's just that. So, like, everyone else there is kind of like a dick.
But do you like the reason he's there is strictly
one bad movie.
I cannot wait for just when he just fucking unloads on him, and he's just like
What was it, Dr. Sunshine?
Dr. Sunshine.
Jeez.
One bad movie, and that's why he's there.
he straight up says like, you gave me my like Joker one bad day moment. You literally gave me my one bad day that set me off course.
So now let's talk about the tortillas because
Yeah,
they're
so-
on the table.
yeah.
This is where all the tortillas have something pictured on them.
Right.
So John Leguizamo's is just the movie Dr. Sunshine. The Farmer Bros are the finance bros are the tax money they've been stealing from
I'm a
their
big fan of Farmer Bros.
Yeah.
You guys want to become Farmer Bros.
I'm so used to like this like Martin Shkreli Farmer Bro nonsense. It's in my head.
I think the Farmers Insurance like we are.
Can we get sponsored by Farmers Insurance?
We might have to. We might have to.
But yeah, it's the tax returns.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's what it was. It's fraudulent invoicing.
Yes, that's what it is.
Company did.
Yes.
Yes.
And they're pocketing that money.
Yes.
And I love how they think they're so above it that they're just like, we'll be okay. Yeah, we're okay.
They're like, we're gonna get this place closed
fine.
out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like you have no idea what you just did. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna be out of business by like Monday. Lady.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
And Elsa's just like, okay, like just so nonchalant
Yeah.
about it.
It's wild. So the old married couple, there's just a picture of the husband with a very young woman who is clearly Margot. And like,
You know what was fucked up about the build up to that though? Because it starts with happy anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a picture of them together. Then there's a picture of,
Yep.
I know specifically, like, I think it's to illustrate that the wife's dedication to the husband has never wavered because she's like, oh, isn't this after you got your melanoma removed? And then that final picture where she's like, who the fuck is that?
yeah.
And then she's starting to connect the dots between Margot, who's on the other side of the room, and who is in the picture.
Yes.
And he's like, nothing. Nothing.
no,
Don't worry
no.
about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I think it's a super cool scene too because then it goes over to Nicholas Hoult
Oh,
and,
his is
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
and it's him just taking pictures of
Which
the food.
literally happened there.
Yeah.
Like they turned it around like that
Instantly.
with a 3D fucking printer on the tortilla.
I almost feel like they knew
And then
that
he's
was
like-
going to happen.
And then he's like super embarrassed about it.
Oh, he's embarrassed in times like
He's
he
like,
gets-
oh no, he hates me.
Oh no, well there's also like when Chef Slowik's like, you're not gonna eat, and she's like, no, I know when I want to eat, and when I'm and him like having that breakdown where he's
like,
like,
"You're fucking embarrassed."
He's like, I specifically made this so everybody has the same portions, and all right, he's like, I'm so fucking embarrassed by you right now. He drops the dish earlier,
Yeah.
when everybody comes, like, because he's like, you need to try this, and like he's just making an ass out of himself, and it's amazing
He's a
because he's
giant
like,
ass clown.
Yeah, he's a giant ass clown. So
Yeah.
like. I love this tortilla scene. It's fucking fantastic.
Shane is also a big Nicholas Hoult fan. You always were, especially from his days in Skins.
Never seen it,
Okay.
but we'll go with yes.
It's retconned in now.
And
He
yes,
loves
yes,
Skins,
it's
so.
in. It's
I
in
think
there.
they also mentioned because she was complaining like that I wouldn't be able to get like full off this food, and he did say that everything was like down to the ingredient.
Yes, would
perfect
make you
for
full.
one person
Yeah.
to make them full throughout the night.
It's so crazy. The food critic has her restaurants that have closed down from her reviews as hers.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
That was significant.
the
and-
businesses she's ruined.
Yes.
Yep.
And then I think that's everyone. I think we covered everyone there.
Yeah, I think because it's right. It's the married couple, the food critic group, the
Finance bros.
finance bros, and then that's
Yeah.
just
Okay.
about
So
everybody.
that's
Yep.
everyone.
Yep.
So from there, Margot's gonna get up and she's like, "I'm gonna go use the bathroom," and that's when Chef Slowik confronts her in the bathroom and he's like, "Who are you? Who
'Cause
are
she tries
you?"
to- she's either trying to like, was she either trying to like get a cigarette out of the window, or I thought she was trying to get out.
I think he's just trying to get out, but
Right.
he's like, "You're not supposed to be here," and he says it so
Just
menacing.
like how he walks right into
Yeah.
the women's room.
He don't care. He plays by his own rules.
This plan, this devious master plan he has been effectively taken off track slightly because of this stranger.
Yes.
Because even on her, like she figures it out early on because I think like the name that was supposed to be there, who is supposed to be like Nicholas Hoult, Tyler's character's date, it's like Miss Westervelt
Yeah.
or something, and she's Margot Mills.
Yeah.
So
Mills.
so even she's like, okay, you clearly had someone you wanted to bring and she couldn't
Yeah.
make it. So what the fuck?
Yeah.
right?
He is keyed in. We can all agree this is a beautiful event. This is great plating, great setup. Everything looks delicious and tasty. And he brings this chick, and she's fucking ruining everything.
Ruining the whole dinner.
God damn it, Margot.
This whore has Shanghai in this event.
Jesus. So let's talk about the next course. The mess.
The mess. Is it Jeremy?
It's Jeremy.
Jeremy, you're a good chef. Not great. He'll never be great.
Dude, it's so brutal watching this scene.
The man
Yes,
is
chef.
dying inside during this monologue
Yeah.
too.
I literally love the cult chants. Yes, chef.
It's because if
We
you've
love you,
watched,
chef.
We love you, chef.
like, well, because that's the thing. It's very, he definitely took a lot of inspiration from Gordon Ramsay and his TV shows
I could see that.
for two reasons. One, he calls someone a donkey, which is Gordon Ramsay's biggest insult he uses on all of his shows.
Yeah.
And 2, if you ever watch any episode of Hell's Kitchen, if you don't respond, yes, chef, Gordon yells at you.
That's true. There's definitely like a modicum or like decorum, a level of respect in the kitchen that he holds everyone to.
Yes, because you're supposed to communicate in a kitchen like that. So if he says like 2 orders up, 2 steaks, 2 halibut, whatever, he expects a yes chef every time.
It's very militant, but I wouldn't be surprised that most high-end kitchens
run like that.
Run like the military, like the Navy. They have to.
Because all the food is supposed to go out at the same time.
Correct.
You're not supposed to have 4 orders go out and then the 5th order takes longer. It goes out. They're all supposed to be cooked at the same exact moment, which this movie does a good job of showing you by they're like literally piece by piece. You see like tweezers going into these foods.
Very meticulous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Shane.
Yes.
Yes, Shane.
Yes, Shane.
Thank you. So, Jeremy, after hearing all this,
He actually goes so deep. This is absolutely brutal because he talks about himself.
Yeah.
He's like, he'll never be as good as me. He wants to strive to be as good as me, but his talent just fails in comparison.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, do you still want to be, like, do you envy my life?
Yes, chef.
Yes, that was.
That's where he says no, though.
Yeah, he said no because he starts to cry because he's like, no, chef, because he's basically saying like, because Chef Slowik essentially says like, I have sacrificed everything I love to be this person.
Yeah.
Do you want this?
Yeah.
No, chef.
Then,
then
he shoots himself in the mouth.
It's a different level of commitment.
Please
Yeah.
enjoy the mess.
Yeah. And this is pretty much where Nick walked in.
Well, I saw everything before that. So the 4th dish, I saw that entire monologue.
Yeah.
And as I was watching that, I was like, okay, this seems kind of intense. I was like, I thought they're just having dinner, don't know what's going on. And then this guy puts a gun in his mouth, and there's just a giant
Imagine
mess.
that's how the
everywhere.
movie opens.
Oh my God.
That's how it opened to me.
It's a great build to this moment.
Yeah, well, this is like exactly what I was saying. Like, this is like the chase, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is like just all of those hours that you work every day. Some of these people work like 7 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
Some
Yeah.
cooks.
Chef hours are insane.
Some cooks, yeah. They're working like 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's such like intense focus. Well, I would say maybe not like if you're on a line, but if you're working at something that's more, a little bit more like high end and you're not just like, you're basically essentially
Yeah.
cooking everything from scratch. It's a very different ball game.
Yeah.
Which they're doing probably.
100%.
Actually, I know they are. I think they explain it. in the
They
beginning.
do. Everything's like fresh farm
I
ingredients.
think it
all that.
made around there, yeah.
They're all on the island.
Yeah.
Well, they show the scallops that they get from the water. Like, I think there's actually a guy on a boat
And they're
fishing
fucking
the scallops.
harassing the guy, like, hurry up, man, we're hungry.
They also
And
have
I'd be
good.
like,
Yeah, they have those like,
No.
those Varick veggie exports that they're just cashing in. on.
Cashing in. All right. So now they are actually served a meal. The mess.
It actually
And
looks pretty good.
This is the first meal that they delivered.
Yeah.
Actually, that chicken with the scissors in it looked delicious.
And wouldn't you
I
say
will
like
say
it
that.
actually looked really
this
good.
is also a metaphor for your life, Shane, which is a total mess,
Gee, you're really coming at me on this one.
or my life.
There's cuckery.
Better cookery
Mess.
the cucked up
crazy.
I'm
mess.
sorry, Shane. Sorry, Shane.
Sorry, Shane.
Okay. So this is where it gets interesting because now they're like, we've had enough. So the husband tries to get up and leave, and the maitre d's like which hand, which finger?
What do you mean hand?
Left or right?
Yeah.
Left or right? Yeah.
She's like insubordinate. He is not choosing ring finger right hand
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They cut off his wedding ring finger.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. They choose the ring finger.
specifically because
I love that, and them even Elsa even like picking the ring off the ground and being like, his ring, madam.
Yeah.
And she just being like, thank you. And he's crying, and I think what's so impactful about the scene is, so I think they mentioned it earlier, but they make this, the wife makes this comment about how Margot looks a lot like their daughter, and he's like, stop fucking bringing it up, right? So now you've already established, like, ew, he's doing something
Yeah.
with a girl that looks a lot like his fucking daughter,
we'll learn a lot about that.
and then they chop the ring finger off, and I'm like, I feel like at this point the guy's not just crying in pain, he's crying because like, oh god, I really goofed up.
Yeah. Is this the part where where he asks him what they've eaten here or no? That's later on, right?
That yes,
That's later, okay.
When he that's gonna be the reason why he lays into.
Okay, yes, okay. So we'll come into that. Now, you've just seen someone's finger cut off, right, Brian? What are you thinking you need next?
A palate cleanser.
There you go. Everyone needs a palate cleanser. So everyone sits down. We're going to have a palate cleanser. A little tea, a little, it's nice and warm. Maybe we look out the window and there's a guy dressed up as an angel and we're going to dip him into the ocean until he drowns.
Oh, you mean the fallen angel, Doug Varick?
Yes. That's the show going on here
Well,
during the palate cleanse.
You work this hard, but no matter what, you're owned by that guy.
Yeah.
That guy signed your checks.
Yep. That guy owns me and tells me what to do. That guy can tell me what to put on my menu. That guy makes a substitution. There are no substitutions on this menu.
True.
Just like Denville Dog and Grill apparently said there's no substitutions. You're getting cheese on that burger.
I was really scared when I ordered both pickle and onions because the menu said pickle or onion. I thought they were going to just chop my hand off.
They slowly dip you into the trash can outside of Denville Dog and
They pull
Grill.
the window up and they're like, which hand? Excuse
Yeah,
me?
oh my God.
So what contraption did they use to just get this man to dangle over the water?
It's actually a great question. And I've actually never actually looked into that.
No, I assume it's like a crane of trapeze kind of situation.
So they just got a wild crane, stretched it out way out into the ocean where this man had enough room to
dropping-
drown.
The only reason I think a crane would have worked and no one would have noticed is because right before that, the one finance bro tries to break the window, right?
Yes.
And not only do you learn that it's basically like just unbreakable, probably bulletproof. It also,
Soundproof.
because they show a shot,
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting from the outside where you don't even hear the chair hit.
Yes, so nothing can be heard from the outside. That's a good point.
So that's probably how there was probably, could you imagine like a guy getting played for like 10 minutes?
Soundproofed, yeah.
So, after this beautiful murder and palate cleanse, Chef Slowik's going to take Margot to the side. He's like, you're not supposed to be here. You seem like you belong with us and not with these people. So I'm going to let you decide. You have 15 minutes to decide if you're a giver or a taker. And he actually does a little timer for her. Then he's going to bring everyone outside. This is where the scene happens that I put in the wrong order. But we learn about this girl, Julia, maybe, or something like that.
Julia Gulia?
It might be.
Julia.
Well,
One of the lady chefs?
yeah. Was it Catherine? I think it was Catherine.
Yes, probably.
That sounds exactly
But
like Julia to me.
he was
I
like, he was like hitting on her.
Yes.
He was like putting the moves on her.
Yeah, he's he wanted to fuck her, and then she said no, and then he asked to fuck her again, and she said no. So he never looked at her for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of conviction it takes to just be like, you know what? Like, I can't do that. I don't know how you. Even if I were to feel dejected, rejected, whatever, I would still talk to that person in some capacity. Depending on what it is. Could you imagine literally and especially because he's her boss, not acknowledging her work, walking past her like she's not even there, and like this is what they do for a living. I think they even Elsa says it even earlier. Like they get like maybe 5 to 6 hours of sleep a fucking day to do their jobs.
That's why you don't dip your pen in the company ink.
Yeah, it's always a mistake, Shane. I would say, yeah, it's very awkward, uncomfortable. I have not talked to my father in 10 years, but that's the only thing I can think of comparable.
Yeah, no, a little different situation of why you guys aren't talking, but
Italian pride.
yes. Oh, I just meant it didn't have to do with Chef Slowik trying to fuck
Italian Pride
someone.
Month is every month,
Yeah.
of course.
Yes.
But yeah, so she then stabs him in the thigh with scissors.
Which is like, I at first I was like, did you just stab him in the dick? Like I was like, is that the way this movie's going? Like I feel like it's a little early in the menu for to be getting the dick stabbing.
Yeah, that's the dessert.
He does later on. He does mention how he doesn't even care about pain anymore.
No.
because of all the.
Feels nothing.
Well, he
He feels
mentions
literally nothing because
he-
everything's crushed his soul.
how he could just grab onto a pan no matter how hot it is
He has chef hands.
Because
Oh, good old chef hands. I love
he
that.
works so hard that he doesn't even feel the pain anymore. So he could just grab a hot pan and walk over and drop it somewhere just because that's the life
That
he's
man
lived.
is literally a firebender from Avatar. So yeah, now the new game is the men get to run and hide, and if they escape, they escape, and if they get found, they have to come back.
Yeah, so this is interesting. The ladies are going to get a separate course while
Yeah.
the men are fending for their.
Yes, this is my
Right,
favorite
good.
Tyler scene coming up.
He just like squanders out towards the end. At the end,
Yeah, well, all the men run, and then
Even
Tyler's
the
just
old dude who got his fucking finger
dude,
chopped off,
his
he's
fucking
hobbling.
hobble run.
oh, I'll come back for you.
That's literally what I thought of. I'll come back for you.
Thunder gunning his way.
But yeah, so Tyler stands there with the girls. He's like, "No, you two," and he scampers off, dejected that he has to leave and not get the course. But that's what coming up is my favorite scene is when Tyler comes back. He's like, "What did you get? Can I get that off your plate?" And he just starts picking off of Margot's plate.
He's like so happy to get captured. He like runs back in the building.
Yes.
He doesn't even try. Like, I think it was it John Lake was on? One of them hid in like the fucking chicken
Chicken
coop.
coop.
or
That's
something.
the last guy that got caught.
Yeah, and actually, that person actually got an extra food reward, right?
Yes.
They came with like some type of
Yeah,
dessert
if you
or
were the
something.
last
for
to get
him.
caught, you got a reward.
It was the food critic's assistant who was the last to get
Yeah,
caught.
that's it.
And he actually got a fucking egg dish while he
Yeah.
was in the
Question for
chicken
you.
coop. Oh, yeah.
That was the assistant.
Of
I
the-
thought that person was doing an interview with them at the
I
restaurant.
never really understood what his role was.
he is a yes man.
Ah,
If you notice, every
Always
time he
enables
says
her.
something, every time he said something, if she had a counterpoint, he's like, "You are absolutely right." He never once goes against her or contradicts what she says. And he doesn't have his own opinion because when he does, if she has a differing opinion, he goes with it. That's why he's just the prototypical yes man, no matter what, even if she's wrong. And that was his role.
that it makes a lot of sense because, like, I don't know why this jogged my memory, but there's a part during the breadless scene where she's like, I make my own bread, and he's like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Oh, it's completely rustic," and he's like, "Oh, I bet it's amazing."
Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
He's
oh my God.
he is the kiss ass yes
Yeah.
man assistant. But he is also the last to be caught.
It's true.
And now when they're brought back, the one guy actually almost got away. Just want to mention that. Finance bro who
on the
was
boat?
he almost had that boat. He was so close.
It was like a rowboat or
a
something,
rowboat.
right? Yeah.
It was actually the rowboat the scalp collector was on.
Like, I don't even know what I would do. Like, does anyone ever just sit around and what they would do if they got lost at sea? Because I think I just die.
Most likely that's what we all do.
Yeah.
You eventually just melt from the sun the next day.
That's true.
Or
Yeah.
you drink salt water and dehydrate.
That's good. Just speed it up.
Yeah. So, now they're all brought back. They're inside. I think this is when the 6th course starts, which is Man's Folly, right? And so this is, but this is just the women, right? The women just eat
Yes.
Man's Folly.
because the men are
This is when they were hiding, and this is when Catherine just says, because the women are trying to sweet talk her. They're like, "We could just let us go. We understand what he did." She's like, "No, the suicide was my idea."
yeah. She thought it was-
That's right, because I thought, like, they were like, "Oh, do you want to open up your own restaurant?
yep.
Like, we'll support you, and then she's like, "No, all of this was orchestrated by me in a way. I thought of this."
Legitimately laughed at that because once the food critic heard that, she's like, "Fuck it," and actually just started eating the food.
She started drinking
gave
wine,
up.
bottle of wine.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what
Well,
it was.
one thing I actually think is interesting about this movie and like every other like cult related movie is that they were very upfront about killing everybody. He
Yes.
told Margot when he had her in the bathroom, or no, when they had her in the hallway,
The second time,
Like everybody's dying tonight.
including you.
Yeah. And then he told everybody essentially that everybody was dying.
Yes.
The surprising part to me is they never even tried to retaliate.
Well, he mentioned that at the end, and he's absolutely right. Like he's like, I'm just surprised that nobody actually tried to fight back better.
Well, because he even says, he's like, "What does that say about you? That none of you attempted to leave or like tried after that."
They're
Because
cowards.
if they all went at the same time, someone was gonna get out of there.
They talk about it. The finance bros and John Leguizamo try to team up, but then like one of them's like, "Dude, they have fucking knives.
Yeah.
And they're probably really good using them."
Oh, definitely.
So it's funny, and I think it also goes to the point of like you expect someone to save you because that's how privileged you are.
Yeah, I think that's what they were hammering home the point of. All right, let's talk about Margot and Tyler. We're going to get a lot into them now because this is where we really learn about Tyler, where Chef Slowik's like, "Tyler, why don't you tell me about the letter I sent you and what it said?" He's like, the one I told you that everyone coming here today was going to die.
Yeah.
That's yes. he fucking knew.
And that's why I actually, because this is where I actually was hoping one of you two can explain to me. I get Tyler's this fanatic fake where it's like he's all about food and he talks a big game and knows everything, but he has no fucking clue how to cook or do anything. what is his deal that he was willing to come here despite the death? Like, what am I missing?
Dick
Like,
riding.
is it really that
He's
bad?
like,
that
there are people that I think are so fanatical, if that's the word, when it comes to like artistry and just the performance, because he keeps going into like, oh, this performance is incredible, this is so much more than you understand, and then shitting on Margot at the same time, like you're just so like you're a fucking common person, you don't understand this,
pleb.
I think he's like obsessed with like not only like Slowik and he's obsessed with like that level of elitism in the kitchen. He's like absolutely in love with it. He wants that.
Yeah.
He gets to be a part of the masterpiece. That's why.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because this is Chef Slowik's masterpiece, and for a guy who's been absolutely dick riding this guy for a long time, he's like, oh my God. Imagine if somebody painted you into a famous portrait that ended up in like the Louvre, like or like the MoMA. Like that's his level of dick. He is the Mona Lisa.
He's going to turn into it very soon.
I love how he brings back that letter he sent back into the fold to let everybody know, like, this was literally his plan.
The whole time.
You could have said something on the boat. You could have fucking stopped this.
Yeah.
And the craziest part is he still invited Margot.
And Chef Slowik hammers home the point. And you still brought her knowing. Like, he is, like, digging in.
He's just like, you are a shit person.
Yes. So Margot fucking wails on Tyler at this point in time, which Chef Slowik a little slow to stop her. I understand why. Let her get a few shots in.
Because I think he's still trying to determine who she is. Is she? I mean, I think he knows that she's a whore, but like as a person, like the quality person who is she?
Yeah, but I think he doesn't care though. I think he just respects service people, no matter what the services they're giving.
He respects the hospitality industry a lot, but I also think that he invited this random person, so he actually, I think, feels something that like he doesn't want a rando that could be a giver. I mean, to be involved.
Yes, 100%. That's why he wants her in the kitchen to suicide with them in the kitchen and not.
He's trying. So
I don't think he may not want him to suicide at all.
Yeah,
he's trying to pivot. Again, I think he was going into this so cold, so calculated that if she wasn't there, this would have been like whoever. Because I think the person that was supposed to be there was Tyler's ex-girlfriend, who I'm imagining probably
was not the best person. Probably she was dating Tyler.
Probably, or eventually even Tyler became so insufferable.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine this guy just basically all he does is talk about Chef Slowik all the time? Probably does like that cream fraiche bullshit at home, trying to make dishes he can't fucking do.
Ooh, the cream fraiche was the special course in the chicken.
It was. That's right. With creme fraiche.
Creme fraiche.
So Tyler now is going to get a chance to cook. He gives him his chef apron. He writes Tyler and Cran.
This is one of two of my favorites. I have two favorite scenes, and this is absolutely one of them.
Yeah. When he's like, all right, he's like, we have everything here you need. Tell me what you need. He's like, leeks. Get the great chef leeks. Shallots. He's like
that's an interesting method.
Yeah. He's like, you need a protein. What's your protein gonna be? He's like, lamb. He's like, oh, we need lamb. He's like, oh, so you're just melting butter and throwing it all in the pan.
It is so painful because he has the entire staff basically following Tyler through the kitchen, critiquing his work while everyone else is also watching from afar. And as it continues, like, even just him cutting, he's like, oh, wow, you have a very interesting method of cutting.
Everyone
like,
look at this.
He's like panicking, right? And like he starts throwing shit in a pot.
I know.
Like he's playing like fucking Breath of the Wild or something. She's like, I'm gonna throw it in here and hope it cooks.
I literally he's like, show us your revolutionary technique. Please. Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
He humiliates him to his core to the point that he just finally shuts the fuck up and sits down, I think. Yeah. Right?
No.
Well, that's right, after he tries to make the meal.
Yes, but then he goes, it's like, they titled this meal. It's like Tyler's inedible, like something.
He tries it. It's just like fucking raw lamb.
He's like
super uncooked.
It's so funny because his delivery is like, this Tyler, this is really bad.
Is this the point where it gives him the coaching?
Yeah. So he tells him like how bad it is, and then he goes up to him and, lost in translation, whispers in his ear. Don't know what he said, but all you know,
taking off his fucking tie.
And we're going to find out soon anyway, so I'll just say Tyler hung himself with that tie.
Yeah, and then they go back there, you'll just see him. I think Margot sees him.
Sees him hanging. Like, very soon.
Which is incredible because he wanted to be part of the dessert piece and like go with everybody, and he got so fucking humiliated by his idol, the person he looks up to more than anything in the world, that he couldn't bear to make it to the end of the course.
Well, I think what Chef Slowik whispered to him is, well, you don't know, so it's just a guess. But my guess is just that he will never like live up to Chef Slowik or something. That's all he has to say.
He literally could be like, I've never been a bigger failure
than you, yeah.
And you'd be like, that's it.
He's like, you're an empty fucking suit.
Yeah.
So get in there and hang
yourself.
yourself with your fucking tie.
No, the best thing you could do right now is kill yourself. I could just imagine him saying that and him being like, yes, chef. And then just doing
he probably just went in, he's like, LOL, kill yourself. And he would have did it. Like an Xbox 360 chat.
What?
Would you kindly kill yourself?
Yeah, like you said, he got literally destroyed by his idol, who pretty much probably trashed his entire way of life, but then proceeds to listen to his idol because he idolizes him so much and hangs himself.
It's like, he's like, oh,
unquestioned.
The only way I can redeem myself in the chef's eyes if I just take my life right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
So now Margot and Chef Slowik are going to talk again. Chef Slowik's going to ask her to go get him something from his office, his house. Margot is going to sneak around at this point, and she's going to look at the radio, but that's when the maitre d' shows up, and they have a big scuffle.
Well, she's not supposed to be there.
She's not. She's breaking in. So
And there's some jealousy.
she's starting to get very jealous of Margot because she's the maitre d', not her. So she stabs the maitre d' in the neck and kills her.
Yeah.
Brutal neck stabbing. So I feel like Chef Slowik didn't care about this at all.
No, because, I mean, everyone's going to die regardless.
Yeah, so
I think it was just a test.
it was.
But yeah,
Because Margot now, while she's rummaging, the word I want to use is rummage.
I like a good rummage.
She's going to do two very, 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 very important things. She's going to find newspaper clippings of Chef Slowik as a young man cooking a cheeseburger.
in 1987.
Yes.
At the Greasy Spoon.
Yes. And two, she's going to find a radio where she calls for help from a boat, and there is a very abrupt cut to the next scene.
Yeah, like I was wondering because the camera focused so much on the image of him as the hamburger line cook in
Yes.
87. I'm like, why did they spend so much time on that? I mean, I get it, he's come a long way, but like, why?
I do like what they do with it, though.
Oh, of course,
It's
but-
so good. So Margot's going to come back. She's going to deliver the barrel, and then she sits down for just a little bit, and then Chef Slowik's telling everyone, we're getting ready for I think it's dessert, when the boat guy that Margot called.
boatman.
I can't think what
Coast Guard.
was he a Coast
I
Guard?
didn't get a Coast Guard jacket.
He did.
on.
He
Okay.
has a firearm on him.
Yes,
So.
you're right. So the Coast Guard walks in, and he's like, anyone need help here? Everyone doesn't say anything because Chef Slowik said, if anyone says a single thing, I will kill this man right here.
But isn't this where he's like, you have to think of like a few things, like
Yeah.
just think of these things. I forgot what the first one was, but I know the second one was like, why none of you actually tried to like make
Leave.
a better attempt at leaving?
Yes.
But I forgot what the first one was.
Do you want an innocent man to die? He does mention
yeah.
that.
Do you want an innocent man to die?
Like
Yeah.
someone who
you will
has
be
nothing to do-
personally
yeah,
responsible. Yeah.
for this man. So instead, the boatman, aka the Coast Guard, because I keep forgetting that word, sees John Leguizamo and he's like, "Are you Dr. Sunshine?" And then he goes, he gets his autograph, but the autograph isn't the autograph.
But
it says,
his name
"Help
is not movie star. It's actually Help Me.
Yes, it
I
is
think
help
it's
me.
Chinese.
And then so the Coast Guard pulls out a gun. He's like, "Everyone freeze! We're getting out of here." And then he lights the candle. He was in on it. He was a chef the whole
this
time.
scene is so fucking good.
Yeah.
I can't. It's so good. He like points a gun so long at Slowik and just takes the gun and
Lights the candle.
fucking love it. It's such a good scene. He plays it for so long, Slowik.
Yeah.
Like,
Plays off very well.
so are you assuming that like when somebody in the back office or the chef has just access to the
radio,
distress
most
calls?
likely, yeah.
They have to. I mean, because they made it very clear. They're like, you have no cellular access out here. Good luck getting a boat because there is none. I think, don't they even applaud the chef for his performance?
Yes.
For just being like, great job on doing that.
Yeah, loved it.
He
It was
takes
beautiful,
everything off,
beautiful.
He has the fucking coat back on and gets back to work.
Thunder. So we're going now, final course, dessert. But before we get to dessert, Margot is like, "Excuse me, chef, I'm still hungry." He's like, "What do you want?" She's like, "A cheeseburger." And it's supposed to like
it did something to him. It means something.
Yes, it's that simple, like where he started. It kind of like brings him back to his
The
younger.
beginning.
Yes,
She's like, I want the cheeseburger and the fries and none of the pretentious bullshit with it.
Exact-
Like, straight up.
because he's like, how would you want it? And she's like, just a cheeseburger, medium. He's like, fries, crinkle, or
Julienne or
Julienne.
something.
And she's like crinkle. He's like, I don't think you can do it, because she's like challenging him to be able to cook actual normal food.
Right, just like all you've made is these like very like puff pieces for
Yeah.
the longest time.
Yeah, but you're right. Like it brings him back to when like he wasn't chasing; it was just a job.
Yes.
To a happier
enjoyed it.
time.
Where
for
he
him.
enjoyed
Yeah.
cooking. Where he
Enjoyed
actually
it.
enjoyed cooking.
Yeah, where it wasn't like a mess.
Yes.
I think when she's rummaging around, don't they imply that he had like a wife and a fucking family at some point?
It's shown in the picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
He literally lost them because
Yeah.
of his commitment to his craft.
Yeah, it's in one of the pictures. So he cooks the food. She eats it. She's like, it's very good. But I think my eyes are bigger than my stomach. Can I get a bag to go? And it's like, that can be arranged. And he just lets her leave.
Does she? It's $9.95. Is that 10 spot that she's? Is that the whole thing, or is it like? Is that the tip?
Oh, that's right. The price is $9.95. I think that's the whole thing.
I think it's the price of the burger because the burger is actually the only thing she ate.
Eight.
So then her tip is literally a nickel.
Yes.
So that makes her the common man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's all she can.
I would say that's very uncommon. but-
Well, you know what? I actually think it's nice she even tipped, because when's the last time you've tipped like hot grill? Like that's essentially, she got like a hot grill burger when you
damn
think
it.
about it.
Tip your fellow hot grill people. Come on.
Hospitality staff should just always be tipped.
That's true.
100%.
So she goes, she gets a little to-go bag, which her to-go bag has, the menu, the keys to the boat, her burger.
Some fries. She's got a whole meal to bring with her.
Yeah. So she just goes on the boat. She drives off, and now we go to dessert, which I love dessert because it's beautiful. There's marshmallow on the ground. There's caramel. There's chocolate.
Yeah, but
you get to wear a marshmallow vest.
Marshmallow vest and a chocolate hat.
Is it a chocolate fez?
It's like a chocolate hat. Yeah.
It's cute. It's cute. Everyone's dressed for the occasion. It's cute. But they're going to serve one of the worst creations on the planet, the s'more.
You don't like a s'more?
Chef
That's-
Slowik.
that- he does it.
He's like this industrial graham cracker. I love it. I love how he describes it that way.
He's like a bunch of contrasting flavors that shouldn't go together. That's what he's saying.
But they're all
It's just-
heated under a flame, and
yeah,
it's magical.
it's no souffle, but it's a s'more.
He lights them all on fire. He literally grabs a burning coal out, drops it, and they all ignite.
Well, that's what the drum was, right?
Yeah.
That was just literally just fucking gas. Like,
Yeah.
he's just burning the place down and everyone in it.
Yep.
Yeah. Lit under a flame, just like a fucking s'more. And I like it because they show that high shot, and it just looks like this beautiful
Flame.
orchestrated, yeah.
There's just one little part I want to go back to real quick, just because it was in this scene, but I just forgot about it. Because when Margot's leaving, the one girl that was the publicist is like, "Can I go?" She's like, "I just, I didn't do it." He's like, "What college did you go to?" Brown. And he's like, "Oh, student loan?" She's like, "No, you die."
I'm sorry you're dead.
His delivery is so good in that scene.
He wanted to give her a chance.
If she had any student
Student
loans,
loans, she's like,
she's
no.
good. She would have lived.
At that point, if she knows the scenario she's in, just say yes.
That's a great point, too.
That's just common sense. but-
I'll be honest with you, he probably knows.
No,
He
yeah.
probably
Because
knows.
they researched
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
So they all go up in flames. They die. I love the last shot where it's Margot on the boat eating her cheeseburger, watching the place burn down.
Doesn't she wipe her mouth with the menu?
Yes.
As her napkin?
Yes.
It's incredible.
Now, the movie's over, but there's a theory out there.
Okay.
And I never thought of it. I truly think she was just let go. Some people think he poisoned the burger.
Why?
I think as a prestigious chef that he is, he has too much pride to actually
And that's
make
what
a
I
bad
thought.
burger.
I don't think there's any reason for him to poison the burger.
I don't like that theory.
Me either.
Like, usually theories are like, what's the point of that theory? Just because he's not letting anybody out?
Yes, but it makes no sense.
That would
Because-
make no sense with the whole idea of
of
bringing
the
them
movie.
back to
Exactly.
the 80s.
Exactly. No, it's just the idea that like she wasn't a taker. She was a giver at the end, so he just let her go because she brought him back. I don't like I don't know. I just saw some people talk about it online, and I think it's stupid.
I think that's a crazy theory, and it's like it totally detracts from the whole
Point of the movie.
But like, you know, you have to think about her, like how many people took from her in that room, right?
Yeah.
Like Tyler's character literally sent her to die.
The other guy,
The
Mr.
main
Nine
guy
Fingers.
literally was like using her to get off on a weird fucking fetish.
Yeah.
Like, that's it, and so you know that's why he granted her an out, because I think you just said it best. Like, he took so much pride in his craft, even when he was doing the pretentious stuff. He wouldn't do something to the burger because that's what he loved doing.
That guy is so fucking weird. Didn't he jerk off to her because it looked like his
daughter? And
Yeah, that's exactly
and she didn't even have to touch him. She just had to say he was a good man while he was doing it.
Yes, that's right. It's
This is
so
like-
fucking weird.
Some happiness shit.
Yeah. It's exactly what it
fucking
is.
Weird, yeah.
She's like, you're a good man. She's like, oh yeah. Oh. But yeah, all right, that's the menu. I'll go into my review.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think that's poisoned the burger.
Oh no, I don't think so. That's why.
Yeah, she took one bite, only one bite, but still exhibited absolutely zero symptoms.
It's a stupid thing I saw online, and I didn't buy into it. I would feel dumb if I didn't just bring it up here and see your guys' opinion.
No, that's fair. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, my review is super easy. 9 out of 10. I fucking love this movie. It's one of the best movies in the last couple of years in terms of like this kind of genre. It's as close to perfect as you can get between having great acting, great story, just overall great characters, the writing, directing, lighting, whatever, anything, any buzzword I can think of. It's great. I love it. It's 9 out of 10. So, like I said, it's probably one of my favorite movies in the last like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. I watched this movie twice. The first time I really liked it. I just loved it so much more the second time. I don't know what it was. I knew it was dark the first time, and it made me feel weird. Still made me feel weird. It's just dark. It's heavy, but it's super funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a dark comedy.
Yes,
Legit.
at
It's
times.
hilarious. I think you went a little high with your rating.
Okay.
So I'm going to go 9 out of 10.
So we gave it the same rating.
Oh. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best movies of last year. Just the acting, the writing. Whoever wrote this movie,
Fantastic.
Is fucking. I have to see who directed it, but yeah, it's just such a brilliant movie all the way through, and I think very rewatchable. Like, I really enjoyed it.
I agree. I would
watch
definitely rewatch this again.
But yeah, no, the performances and the cast is great.
Agreed.
And some of those ancillary characters that they added on was just
Fantastic.
pretty great. Yeah.
Tim.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, I mean, damn, it's I don't think we can ever give anything a perfect score. I think it's like to achieve perfection, I think is like also kind of like the point of the movie, right? Like at what cost. So I think in terms of just like the symbolism and the message, you know, it wasn't too force fed, no pun intended there. But I felt like it was. I feel a 9 is a good score for it. I feel like it's witty. There's really not a lot of films, in my opinion, that are like this, because like this would have turned into any other film if like from the beginning he's like, the thing you just ate, you're all gonna die in an hour. Like that would have been the typical thing. Like, you all have been poisoned.
Yeah.
Like, now figure it out. Now this like felt like I think the way it was shot, the lighting, the characters, the exposition, the way the emphasis on the food too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes like I was watching like a reality show.
Yeah.
Or like something on like the Food Network, where it's like very, very up close, beautiful shots of the way they create things. I feel like the whole thing was just in of itself, like just like a good burger, like from start to finish.
I agree.
Yeah, there's like no holes. Like, they
No.
clean everything up.
No, this is not Swiss cheese. It's like a nice sharp cheddar or something.
It
like
is.
That,
I dig that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to go
It's a
just
complete meal.
before we go to Nick, just to go to your point of like perfection and scores, we're on episode somewhere in like maybe the late 170s, early 180s at this point. I think I've given out 5 to 6 10s total. It just doesn't
hard to
happen.
do. It's hard.
Because it's like, if you give something a 10, that means almost nothing can pass it.
And you also have to, that is your baseline for perfection. You now
Exactly.
have to measure everything against.
Like, I know for a fact I gave the thing a 10.
yeah, and I think I gave that maybe a 9.
You gave it a 9.
Yeah.
And I gave...
I think I gave out 4 10s.
Yeah, I think I gave Hereditary a 10.
Yeah, we all did.
And I gave Saw 1 a 10, and that wasn't even because Saw 10 deserves it. That was more of a nostalgic, like kind of got me really to horror 10. So
Right.
it's a hard thing to achieve.
It's got to be, you know what it is? It's the originality of it.
Yeah.
There's got to be like a level of originality that you're like, wow, and that spins off, like Saw's a perfect example.
Yeah.
It spins off a genre of films.
Yes.
From it. So
It's great. All right, Nick.
Okay, yeah. So I missed the first half of the movie, but from everything that I did see, no, I really enjoyed, and the characters are just so different, and just the way they act is much different than all of us common folk would always act. So it just understanding their perspective is a little tough from time to time, but like you see the movie does a good job of like showing their views and their sides and why the chef has this vulgar angst against all these people. But no, it was awesome. I'll give it an 8.5. I don't know if you do half
don't do
scores.
halves. Gotta
All
give
right,
it a flat
round up. I'll round up to a 9 then.
Okay,
Guys,
okay.
you know, we always round up. But
I like that.
yeah, but I really enjoyed it. And I think the one thing that really stood up to me with the chef is when you become so good at something, you have to put so much time into it. It's almost anything. You have to sacrifice so much. If it's like sports and like look at Kobe and Jordan. Like they gave up their entire lives. Everything was practice. This chef gave up family, children to be the best chef that he could. It literally drove him to madness.
I know.
And I can't wait for the sequel, or technically the prequel. It's the story of Doug Verrick and how his rise to fame.
Rise to fame.
And then inevitable fall.
Or sink. Or what?
He's a fallen angel.
That's right. That's right.
So let's kill someone in the Necronomicon. Who we nominating?
this is a tough one. This is a real tough
There's a lot of death, but I know mine. It's Chef Slowik.
Is it because he's just
Really?
lit up like a candle?
No, it's
Because it's
just
the whole masterpiece?
yeah. It was his show. He ran the show. He orchestrated all the death. He did. It was the suicide cult. It was his. I think he deserves it. He was the mantelpiece. He was the one.
There's a lot of
Great.
good
With
death.
that being said, I'm going Jeremy.
Okay.
it kicked it off
had
for me.
Jeremy too.
It just like the mess. You knew something was fucked up, but that was like the literal trigger.
Okay.
To like, okay, we're not getting out of here alive.
Okay.
This is fucked up. We've been had.
We've been bamboozled.
Good thing with Jeremy too is that Tyler's like, oh, this is amazing, and then the critics like, this is just a show. Like people rationalized his fucking death.
I know.
It's crazy.
Right in front of them. Like,
Yeah.
people normalized it, and other people are like, no, he straight up shot himself,
Yeah.
dude.
It's like us, like this is good or this is bad, and people are just like on the ultra end of just they trying to like, be the living embodiment of something else because it's like perfect art.
If I had to choose, I would say the first kill. Is,
It's that-
yeah,
it's that-
it just goes like it comes out of nowhere and it just sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
Okay, then. Jeremy. You'll never be Chef Slowik. We all knew that. The second we saw you and we learned your name was Jeremy. How can a Jeremy be as good as a Chef Slowik? Chef Jeremy? That doesn't have the same ring. You need a chef's name. Gordon Ramsay, Bobby Flay, Guy Fieri. You gotta have a name like that. Jeremy ain't getting you to the top.
The Barefoot Contessa.
Exactly.
Paula Dean.
Exactly.
Rachel Ray.
Emerald Lagasse. You gotta have a name.
Cooking with Kay.
Exactly. Jeremy was never going to have that ring. So, you did what you had to do. You shot yourself. Honestly, it might have been for the better. So, for that reason, we're going to put you in our Necronomicon.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you both for being on
This
the
was
last two
fun.
episodes.
Absolutely.
It's been great having both of you here. Now, though, you're going to miss out because me and Brian are starting M. Night Shyamalan month.
August.
Yeah, we didn't really have a name
Yeah,
for it.
isn't it like it's just random?
Random. We just decided we wanted to do M. Night Shyamalan movies this August.
Shamalama Ding Dong August.
Exactly.
Are you gonna reveal the 4 movies we're reviewing, or you want to go on a week? by
No, we
week?
could reveal the 4. Next week, we will be doing Old. Oh, no, Knock at the Cabin. You're right. Knock on the Cabin is first. So we're doing Knock on the Cabin, his most recent movie, right?
Yeah, I think it's on Peacock. Oh, Peacock just has rights to these movies.
Peacock just has everything at this point. We're also going to do Old.
Those are his 2 most recent movies,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then we're going to also do The Visit, which is a newer one he has done. And then we decide to take it back.
Take it back to one of the. I don't know if it's. I guess it's kind of like a classic.
It
no?
is.
Maybe?
We already did Signs on this podcast, so we couldn't do Signs. So we are doing The Village.
Happening. Oh.
No, The Village.
Got it.
We talked about doing The Happening, but we decided
Didn't happen.
nope. We'll hold off on that one. You know what's crazy? After we do this month, we've covered a lot of his movies already.
We have. It's true.
Like 5 is a majority of his catalog. Because what are we gonna do? After Earth?
Well, he does this thing. He blends like the fairy tale sci-fi stuff with horror.
Yeah.
And like sometimes you're just like, how do these even mesh?
I've been asking Brian if we could do Lady in the Water on this podcast. I don't think we can,
not a
but
horror
we'll,
movie,
we'll
like-
think about it.
It's like definitely not a horror movie. that's the thing.
100% is not, and I would be breaking a rule to do it.
But you have people that really like that movie.
I
and
don't.
I can't see it.
I felt like they tried to market it as a horror movie, much
Yes.
like all of his films. When I was a kid, I saw the trailers for that. I was like, oh.
It's a fantasy
Yeah,
movie.
I watched it with the idea that it, for the same reason, was a horror movie.
It's a
and
fantasy
it was
movie.
just definitely not even close.
There's just a nymphograph running around or whatever. Though.
yeah, it reminded me of like an attempt to make like a Studio Ghibli live action,
Yes.
but have Shyamalan direct.
it. It is so bad. And Bryce Dallas Howard is like a wood elf or something in that movie.
Yep,
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah, don't be.
a
It's
wood
bad.
nymph.
It's just so bad. It's so bad. Okay. So with that said, we are the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week where we literally knock on a cabin door and Batista answers.
Don't you love the apocalypse? Shane has always been a guy for doomsday.
I love it. I can't wait to see the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse because I know one's Batista and the other was in Harry Potter.
That's true. That's true. New episodes every Monday of the final podcast and every Friday of Final Friday. We'll see you next week.
Bye.